Obviously, Ten Hag got sacked by Manchester United after, placing them in 13th place in the Premier League and 15th place in the Europa League. Something had to change, and in us, the United owners had enough. And his replacement is Ruben Amorim, the current Sporting manager. Is this going to be a good, signing, or do you think he's just going to end up being kind of a flop like Ten Hag? To understand better, let's analyse Ten Hag's time at United. So he joined on the 1st of July 2022, just in time for the 22-23 season. The season prior to him joining, United finished 6th in the Premier League, and that was obviously under Ralf Rangnick, who is currently doing very well for the Austrian national team. In his first season, United finished 3rd with a total of 75 points, which is quite respectable, I'll be honest. And that's where they peaked, because the following season, the 23-24 season, obviously last season, they finished 8th in the Prem, finished 4th in their UCL group, and the only reason why Ten Hag kept his job is because they won the FA Cup. The top 3 key signings under Ten Hag were Anthony, aka the fidget spinner, for £85 million. We all know this guy flopped terribly hard. Yes, I know the memes about him being the best player of all time in 2008, but let's be honest, this guy's contributed less to Manchester United than me. He also brought in Andre Onana, who had a pretty good season at Inter Milan before joining Man United, and there was a lot of hope for him. He hasn't been the worst keeper in the Premier League, but you'd expect much more for him, especially as they paid roughly £50 million. Then he also brought Lisandro Martinez from Ajax. He hasn't really been able to find superb form at United. That is due to injuries, to be fair to him. This all inevitably amounted to Ten Hag's sacking. Amorim is set to take charge of United on the 11th of November, so remember that date, because it could be the start of a new era. And of course, this season he's been, Sporting have been absolutely brilliant, and that is mainly down to him. Top of the Portuguese league with 10 wins in 10 games, and 2nd place in the Champions League. And Amorim is leaving Sporting after an incredible 4-1 win over Man City. They absolutely owned Manchester City. But let's talk about how he'll be setting up his team at United. So since December 2019, his main formation was the 3-4-2-1, which he's used 117 times. He has used the 3-4-3 80 times, the 3-5-2 3 times, and the 5-4-1 only once. Building up from the back, he's always incorporated the 3-back formation, and that will still be possible at United because he does have plenty of centre-backs to his disposal. Usually the 2 wide centre-backs, they slightly come down a bit closer to the keeper, and the middle centre-back kind of forms he moves up into the CDM position to form a kind of diamond shape. Out of possession, their setup is going to be absolutely vital, because they won't be dominating the ball as much as maybe they would have liked to, because the sad reality for them is they're not a top 6 team right now, so they're not really able to dominate the ball much. They're not like City, Arsenal, Aston Villa. These teams all dominate the ball. So how they set up out of possession will be incredibly important in seeing if they can win any games. Especially the 2 key CDM CM pivots, Mainu and Ugarte. They're going to need to do a lot more than what was maybe previously asked of them. Who do I think Amorim will sign to United? Because obviously when there's a new manager, of course he's going to bring back at least 1 or 2 players, from his old team with him. And I think Gyökeres is definitely a high possibility. The most informed striker in, outside the top 5 leagues right now. Possibly in the top 3 most informed strikers in the world right now. If you think about it, maybe Lewandowski, possibly Haaland or Luis Diaz, and Gyökeres has to be in that conversation for one of the best strikers definitely this season, and possibly one of the centre-backs, because yes, he does have strong centre-backs right now, but I think they need much better central support than Johnny Evans and Maguire, and I think somebody like Diomande or Inacio could be brought in. However, you know, it won't look that likely. They're both young, high potential centre backs, so I mean, why not, you know, if it works. So I think those are like the three players that are the most likely to join United following Amorim's hiring. What do you think, though? Do you think Amorim will be able to, you know, bring United back to the top four? Or do you think he's going to be another flop and be sacked in 2 or 3 seasons like Erik ten Hag? I personally think he'll do pretty well. I don't think this season he'll be able to get them up to the top 4 spots, but I think another, like a 7th place finish is definitely doable, especially with the key players that he has to his disposal, like Garnacho, Diallo, Ugarte, Mainu. All of these players can definitely score goals for him, and I think they can adapt to his system. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.